Hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live. This is a show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And happy Saturday, you guys. So sorry for running super late today, almost an hour behind what we normally do. We ran some errands this morning. Basically, there was a package that was delivered, but they didn't leave it. They were like, oh, you need to be present. I was like, all right. So I called FedEx, and in fact, they were just supposed to leave it because it was a branded thing, and I needed to have it by that package by a certain time, so I could have made a certain post by a certain time. So everything is late. And on top of that, customer service sent us to the wrong place.
They gave us the wrong address.
I try really hard to not yell or lose my temper when it comes to customer service because I don't think they get paid enough to put up with my BS. But yesterday I was on the phone. It's literally the same guy, same voice, same accent. And yesterday he very clearly said the address. And I repeated it back to him, and he said, yes, that's it. We get to the location today, and I'm like, what kind of a building is this? And we weren't the only ones
We
either.
actually bumped into someone else that was having the exact same problem.
Yeah.
And it just justified our entire reaction and our entire,
what is
fed
going
up with
on?
FedEx.
So I called the number back, and I said, so I'm at this location, the address you gave me yesterday. What is it? He looked it up. He said 200, enter the name of the road. And then today when I talked to him, he said 2,000. And I said, sir, which is it? Because 200 and 2,000 don't even sound the same on the phone. So there's no way that because I repeated it back to him yesterday. And then he said it, but then he said the street name wrong. And I'm like, sir, you're telling me something different every time. Which one is it? Like, that's what I don't ever talk to customer service like that. I try really hard to not lose it.
Wendy's actually a lot more calm, cool, collective with customer service than I am. Sometimes I'll just lose it. And I feel bad because I'm just like, I know it's not your fault, but...
They don't get paid enough. Well, it is his fault if customer service is sending me to pick up my package at the wrong location. In the same minute, he set 2 different addresses to me today. And I'm like, so which is it?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time to wait. So anyways, that's why we're running a little late. And then I had a nosebleed before he came on. So
today's has been a little bit... And plus the fact that it's like 94, 95 degrees today. And no matter how good of a day you're having, you have to go outside in that weather. You're just grumpy for the rest of the day. It doesn't matter.
And the last couple of days hasn't been great, so you know.
Yeah, just a little, stress-inducing.
Anyways, we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about some Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi!
Finale. We're going to talk episode 3 of Miss Marvel. We're going to keep it all spoilers, and I do see a super chat from, I believe it's Marvin
Martin, thank
you so much. I think it's a recommendation. Oh, wait, there's something we got to watch. Okay, so before we get to that, Dustin was actually telling me another piece of fun news about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
This was actually dropped in our Discord by the one and only Debbie. Thank you so much, Debbie. I'm
Debbie.
so glad. Okay, because thank you so much, Chris Mendez, for a super chat. We'll get to it in just a moment after this little bit of movie news. But it's funny because where I work, I have interactions with a lot of kids. I work at a kids museum, and I was talking to this one little girl about the 3 Avatar movies that Nickelodeon and Paramount are going to be bringing out. And I didn't really know that much information at the time, so I now have more information about it because I was super excited to see this in our Discord. And we actually have the release dates and what the movies are going to be about for the next 3 animated Avatar movies. The first one is actually going to be coming out in 2024, and it's going to be based off of Avatar Kyoshi. So it's going to be a prequel to all of the Avatar series and all of the Avatar material that we have so far. And I've wanted to learn more about the Kyoshi warriors, how they got started, and they were just such a badass group that I really feel like they did not get their time in the sun. So I'm really happy that we get to explore a little bit more of the Kyoshi warriors and about Avatar Kyoshi, who was, from what we have learned in the animated series, she was a badass. She was just like taking on full-on armies by herself.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. The second one is going to be coming out in 2025, and it's entitled Fire Lord Zuko. So it's going to be taking place after the 100-Year War, after Aang, takes care of Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah.
And it's going to be his reign, which is actually something that I've really wanted to see. I wanted to see what happens right after the 100-Year War is over, when Zuko and Aang are working together to rebuild the world that the Fire Nation just destroyed. And last but not least, in 2026, we're going to have Avatar Korra, and it's taking place after the events of the Legend of Korra. So we get to find out how she plans to start, because she's going to be the first one in the next long line of avatars that's not going to have contact with all of the previous avatars, because the whole avatar structure was broken with her.
Interesting.
So
she starts something new.
She starts something new. It's when she comes back from the spirit world, and I'm excited. Wendy, what do you think about the titles and the release dates for these 3 Avatar animated films?
I couldn't be more excited. I really love Avatar, the animated. We don't talk about the movie because it wasn't really done right, in my opinion, and we haven't seen the Netflix live action, so I can't really say anything about that because we haven't seen it yet. I am cautiously optimistic. I like the cast, I will say that. But for them to use, animated movies to tell stories of specifically the Kyoshi Warriors, that's really interesting to me because I was fascinated by them. So I can't wait to see more of that. The Fire Lord Zuko premise is very interesting. That may have a little bit of overlap with hopefully we'll get to see, grown up Avatar Aang doing Avatar Aang stuff. I wonder if they're gonna, and I don't know if they did this in the graphic novel, because I believe there is Avatar The Last Airbender graphic novel or comic books, and what happened with Zuko's mom. I don't know if that was resolved in the comics, and if it is, if they're going to put that into the animated movie. So I'm not sure about that. If they do, great, because I would like to see that. And then finally, the Korra stuff. When he first said it, he's like, oh, the last one's called Korra. I was like, but we have her story, so I don't want to see a thing about her unless it's, what happens after.
Yeah.
I don't need to see what happens before. We've got her whole series. Love Legend of Korra, but, what's happening now? Is she still, her and Asami still in that, realm or wherever it is that they walked off to, and, does she come back?
That's actually a really good point. Because I don't think that the article that I read it just said after the events of the series. So it could be while they're in the spirit world. It could be when they come back from the spirit world. So I'm really curious on what they're going to focus on in each one of these series.
Yeah. You guys, let us know what your thoughts are on the 3 titles for the upcoming Avatar animated movies, and if it's, if you're kind of meh about the title, then what is something that you guys would like to see? Put that in the comments or in the chat as we go back into the chat and kind of chit-chat with you guys a little bit more before, let me see if I missed anything. Travis Oro says, Obi-Wan finale was so great. It really was. It really was. Giuseppe HB just subscribed.
Thank you so much.
Let's put some popcorns in the chat and give Giuseppe a big movie bunch welcome.
Popcorn.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Yes. Popcorn.
Nosebleed. Yes. No. I've gotten nosebleeds before, but not often. This year, in the last couple of months, I would say I've gotten the most nosebleeds there have been, which is weird and a little bit concerning to me. A little bit. So yeah, but
well, the weather has been getting more and
hot
more
and dry.
Hot, dry, and then goes back to being humid. Because what is it? A few days ago we had 94-degree weather, but yet it was pouring rain and thunderstorms and lightning.
That was fun. I had to host a Her Universe thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And the storm knocked out our Wi-Fi, our electricity, but for a second. It was just a quick flicker, but it did enough to knock out the router, so I was flying blind without a producer in my ear for that live sale, but it was fun, and I think I did okay. So, yes, the packaging was, and it's not like it's a package. So sometimes as a channel, as a brand, other brands will send you packages they're not paying us to do anything, but it's just one of those like, hey, would you be interested in receiving this to talk about it? And then I can say yes or no. In this case, I said yes. And sometimes they have, like, this is how mailers work, right? Like, they have a specific deadline. They say, okay, well, you know, when you agree to receive said package, then you agree to, like, okay, you're going to post about it in exchange for receiving the package, like, for the goods, essentially. So that's why it was, like, really, really relevant that I got it yesterday, but it's fine. We have it, but it's not like a paid thing. But yeah, it is a little aggravating that it just didn't, because then I had to, you know,
and it was a real
call up the PR person and be like, hey, so this happened, so if my post is late, you know, she's like, no, I totally understand. So it's just a little bit of aggravating things when you pack your day so full,
yeah,
you don't really have wiggle room, and then you run late to a live show. Let's go ahead and get to Marvin Martin's super chat.
Yeah.
Martin says, oh, Martin, the first name I can't even pronounce.
I know. I was kind of looking at that earlier, and I'm like, that one.
Maupassant, maybe? The Horla, Kipling's Most Dangerous Game, Blackmore's Mountain Man, Grammar's Bitter Brew, and Critical Role theme song as sung by Voice Play.
That we've actually heard.
Have we?
I thought so.
I don't know.
Because I thought I remember having someone recommend that to me, and I think it was when we were doing reactions to The Legend of Vox Machina, and someone, because I've heard some of Voice Play stuff.
Yeah, well, Martin usually is the one that will send us recommendations for Voice Play. So I think learned about Voice Play from them first. But let's see, Critical Role. I'm not going to play... Oh, you know what? I don't think we've listened to it because it came out 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
I think what you heard was there is a, like... Do you call them a DJ? Do you call them a producer, maybe? Songwriter?
Oh, someone did like a remix of it?
They did a lo-fi or a lo-fi mix of Your Turn to Roll. And I am, like, obsessed with it. So if I'm editing when I'm doing something else, I'll have it play in the background just because it calms me. But we're going to just play, like, the first 10 seconds of it.
Oh. Oh, I like that.
All right, that's enough.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to listen to it later because copyright. But that is... Ooh, I'm so happy for that recommendation. You guys know we're big Critter fans over here, so... Thank you so much to Marvin Martin for all of your recommendations. We will make sure we check those out, including the Critical Role theme song cover by Voice Play. We have another super chat from our good friend Chris, Chris's Choice.
Yay!
Hi, Chris. Thanks for being here. Chris writes, went to see Elvis last night, and it was phenomenal. What other musician or band would you like to see a biopic of? Ooh.
That's a good
Great question.
And I'm trying to think of, okay, which ones out there have we already gotten? I wouldn't mind seeing like a Foo Fighters story, because Foo Fighters was such a part of my high school years growing up, and also they were one of my oldest brother's favorite bands to ever go see. And I think a Foo Fighters movie, Foo Fighters biopic would be really good. And I don't think they've done anything like that before. So,
no.
I mean, there's also like a whole bunch of them that are already out there that are so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that
Bohemian
are out there
Rhapsody
already.
Is so good.
Yeah, the Beatles, I think, has probably a couple. Elvis. What was the question again?
So
musician or band?
Oh, or musician.
Well, you said a band.
Yeah, I was saying a band.
I'm trying to think of the ones who are no longer with us, because it feels weird to be doing a biopic of someone who's still very much alive.
Yeah.
Even if they're old.
You know what wouldn't be bad? A Britney Spears one. Since Britney Spears now, there's so much that has come to light about Britney Spears' career when she was in the conservatorship, to actually tell about what was going on and get some background. And you could still very much get direct research from Britney Spears, from people that were involved. That actually might be a really interesting to do. Ooh,
I think that's too soon.
in the chat, the most recent one.
Oh, David Bowie.
David
Pearl
Bowie.
Jam and the Who. Oh yeah, those are great.
David Bowie. Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to see a David Bowie one. That's an excellent idea.
Pink Floyd. Great suggestions, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see one for David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is one of him yet that I can think of. That's in a grand, like, I'm not saying it has to be Baz Luhrmann, but
Honestly,
Baz Luhrmann would fit.
It would fit. It would fit.
Yeah. If it's okay to pick someone who is kind of older in ages but is still very much alive, I'd like to see one for John Williams.
Oh,
I don't really think there's been one for a composer, but I think that would be really interesting to see, just because all of his music is so iconic. So I think that'd be a cool one. As well as a lot of the ones that you guys have said in the chat here today.
And
Frank Sinatra.
There's no shortage of amazing talent for music, inspirational musical stories, because it's such a part of our culture, no matter which culture you're a part of.
Travis Earl says Madonna's biopic is coming too. That makes sense. Oh,
yeah, that's right.
That really makes sense, And then, later on, eventually, this group is still very, very young. They've accomplished a lot. It's still very, very young, obviously, but I got to throw my BTS name in the hat there for a biopic.
They are the modern day, in a sense, they're kind of like the modern day Beatles, where they've gone so international.
Yeah. Frank Castle says Michael Jackson.
Huh.
I know there's been biopics, but, like, if we're talking kind of in the scale of, like, Elvis...
Yeah.
Or like Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't really think there is one of him. Yeah, there's documentaries and stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, there's been a couple people who've played Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. There we go. Hopefully that answers your question. Before we get into our...
Oh, but by the way, I do agree with you so much about how amazing Elvis is.
Oh,
if you guys... Yeah.
Go see it, guys.
Yeah, go see it. It is definitely worth the watch. And thanks to Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Supersonic Hero 10 in our Discord. He actually put an article by Variety that's talking about Baz Luhrmann has confirmed that there is a 4-hour cut of the Elvis movie. So hopefully, maybe in like a few years or so, we'll be able to watch a 4-hour cut of Elvis. Which, honestly, I would like to see. And see what they did end up cutting.
You know what is crazy is when I first heard of the Elvis movie and they announced that Austin Butler will be playing Elvis, I kind of looked at his picture and I was like, yeah, I can kind of see it, especially for young Elvis. But because he does kind of have a young-ish face, I was like, nah, I don't know. And then we watched the movie, and obviously Austin plays Elvis through various stages of Elvis's live and as he ages and stuff like that. Holy crap, there are some scenes where you look at him, you're like, that's Elvis. Mm-hmm. He did a really, really, really fantastic job. I really think his name's gonna be circulating a lot during the award seasons. For Oscars, for SAG.
There's gonna be a lot of Oscar buzz
for the
about
Golden
Elvis.
Globes, for the movie, Tom Hanks' performance. I mean, I think it's kind of like of course, Tom Hanks did great. Yeah. But this is the first, and I said this in our review too, this is the first time I've watched a Tom Hanks, a character that Tom Hanks played, and hated the character. He was so
sleazy in this movie.
Oh, gosh.
So well played.
So, much love to Tom Hanks for being able to portray that, because I feel like if you can make the audience member go, ugh, God, just feel disgusted when this character walks on screen, I think you've done your job.
Yeah, and also the fact that Tom Hanks is the nicest guy in the world. I still love that one tweet that someone fell asleep at a bar, and Tom Hanks was there at the bar, and he kind of scooted up next to him and told his friends to take a picture.
Oh my! And
just so you can show him this when he wakes up.
Hey man, you missed out on Tom Hanks hanging out with you. Debbie says the Colonel wasn't the nicest of guys from what I've read. I mean, that that barely scratches the surface, that comment.
He is evil.
He is just you, because like I had an inkling going in, and what makes it, I think, makes you hate him more is he's your narrator for the Elvis story.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say. But you gotta watch it. It's so good. Go see it at Dolby Atmos or like a Screen X, which is where we got to see it. It's incredible.
Seeing it at Screen X is actually kind of cool.
It's actually really cool.
There's a lot of moments where it makes you really feel like you are in the concert.
Yeah.
Or you're in whenever it goes to the side panels being projected.
It
just
makes you
go,
feel like,
this is pretty cool. It makes you feel like you're there.
Actually, there was one song, I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of the big numbers, and at the end, like, everybody clapped, like, as if we were at a concert. We're like, oh, wait, this is a movie.
They can't hear us. Baz Luhrmann isn't going to hear this.
Yes. But it's nice to think that he, that's probably, like, he's hearing about the reactions from the audience, so it's cool. All right, you guys. One more super chat, and then let's get into the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale. Obi-Wan! So this latest super chat comes from Zorg, the Dark One.
Thank you so much, Zorg.
Hi, Wendy and Julio. Hope you guys are doing great. We're doing all right.
When I see Julio, I'll ask him.
Yes, ask him. Navi, when you see Julio, you do the same, okay?
Wendy, go get Julio.
All right, let's go ahead and get into... Oh, that's not it. There we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, I kind of messed up the thingy. Hold on, that's going to bother me if I don't fix it.
Gotta get it so it fits just right.
What? Come on now. Come
But
on.
So, just so everyone knows, we will be going into deep spoilers on not just Obi-Wan, the final the final episode. We're going to be talking about the whole series.
Yes.
So, if you are not caught up, we do recommend that you put a hold on the rest of this live stream and come back and watch the VOD later.
Yes.
We will be getting to Miss Marvel episode 3 later afterwards. But yeah, we are going to be diving in full on spoilers for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. This was a huge finale. I think it ticked off a lot of the boxes. And it is probably my favorite, the best, I think, episode out of the entire seasons. The entire season. Overall, we thought the series was good. It's not perfect. There's a lot of plot holes and things that we're just kind of like, yeah, okay, sure. But we love Star Wars. We love Obi-Wan Kenobi. We love Ewan McGregor. And to see him and Hayden Christensen back in the series, to be introduced to Moses Ingram, like, that is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is obviously the confrontation between Obi-Wan and his old friend, Anakin Skywalker, and now known as Darth Vader. So,
Anakin Skywalker, the Sith Lord formerly known as Darth Vader, or
what?
No, I'm sorry. I used to do that all the time at birthday parties when I used to be Darth Vader, and I had to turn back into a good guy. And they're like, okay, say your name.
Because it's a birthday party.
Anakin Skywalker, the Sith Lord formerly known as Darth Vader.
Oh, that's funny.
It's Darth Vader, the Jedi formerly known as Anakin Skywalker.
There you go.
Got those flipped. But honestly, yeah, this is really, in this episode of Obi-Wan, we pretty much have two completely different storylines. We have the Obi-Wan and Vader storyline, and then we have the Reva on Tatooine storyline.
Yes.
So it really did kind of split the finale, really split our focus in two different directions.
Yes.
Honestly, one of my thoughts about this entire series is that the Reva storyline really could have done better, I think, if it was actually a part of its own series. If they actually had done like an Inquisitor story, like an Inquisitor show, and had focused 100% on Reva, following her steps on trying to infiltrate the Inquisitors to get close enough to Darth Vader to try and kill him, and telling that story as opposed to kind of doing a little bit of that and then a little bit of Obi-Wan and having them somehow kind of cross over a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like it would have been a little bit more of an interesting story if it was standing alone on its own.
Yeah, I think the introduction, like, I think it was the thought of like adding Reva in the show was, they probably liked it on paper, and I love being introduced to new characters. However, I think a lot of her character and storyline got overshadowed by Obi-Wan and Vader, because these are like, I mean, these are the trilogy, the OG characters. So, you know, people are going to be wanting more screen time for them. But I think what she was able to add was a little bit of that, like, all of her anger wasn't placed just on Anakin Skywalker when he, you know, walked into the Jedi Temple and killed all those younglings, but it's also, I think, kind of like how Ahsoka was really mad at the Jedi Council. She was mad at the Jedi because she's like, where were you, Obi-Wan, when this happened?
Yeah.
You know, which you know, she's coming from the anger came from, like, she was so young and not having the understanding of, like, he really wasn't right there. He was, if you saw the prequels, he was on
another planet.
Yes. So, but like, I would say I can understand where she comes from and the anger, and I did enjoy that little bit of, not really a twist, I think all of us kind of saw that coming, that she was going to be one of the younglings, but to kind of see her, you know, story in episode 5 was good, but I think I'm still kind of up in the air about how I feel about her going to Tatooine to go after Luke.
I do have to admit, this is something that was very constant in this series, is that the characters would get just the smallest hint of information, but yet then once they got that information, they knew everything. True, us as the audience do know, but the part where, like, she gets, if that doesn't, you'll have, you can't know about the kids. Tatooine. Owen. That must be Darth Vader's son. And I'm like, wait, how did you piece, I mean, true, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. But how did you piece that together from what you got?
Yeah.
But anyways, despite the fact that she got stabbed in the stomach and figured out this puzzle that only had 2 pieces, like a few pieces given to her, she was still able to make it all the way to Tatooine relatively quickly. But what we were all focused on, what we wanted to see the entire episode be, was Obi-Wan being like, I'm going to let you guys go and run away from this Death Star while I draw Anakin towards me.
Star Destroyer.
The Star Destroyer towards me. And I have to admit, that showdown down on whatever planet that was on was such an epic fight.
Yeah.
I loved seeing it. I loved the choreography of it. And I know they've done this bit before in Rebels where, you know, at the end of the fight, Darth Vader gets half of his mask blown off, and you just had this insanely emotional dialogue to where Ewan McGregor is just pouring his heart out. You see
the way he said, "I'm sorry,
yeah.
Anakin." I cried.
That is what we wanted to see this entire season. Was that moment? Was the moment that Ahsoka gets later on in Rebels? So when Ahsoka is fighting Darth Vader, and I loved it. It clicked it checked a lot of boxes for me. The fight was just brutal. I loved how, what is it called? Obi-Wan is just lifting all of these rocks and just hurling them at him.
And I think, the lighting too in that scene when the mask was shattered, and you saw like the tiniest trace of Anakin in there when you said you didn't kill me, you didn't fail him, or something like that, where it was kind of mostly encased. Anakin / Vader was kind of encased in that blue light, kind of hinting at that struggle is still there, but then when it became full Vader and it said I killed him, and it was all red again, and I thought the lighting design was excellent, especially with the hum of their lightsabers. There was a lot that I really loved about that finale so much. I think the showdown definitely was it, you know, and when he trapped Obi-Wan in all of those, you know, when he sunk the ground, I really kind of wish I wanted him to say, I said it in our reaction, I was like, yeah, I have the high ground now. Because he did. Right. He did.
When he does that, that palm, that force quake.
Yeah.
on the ground and Obi-Wan falls through. Yeah, when he's standing there, a part of me was kind of like, I have the high ground, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but it's okay. He didn't need to say it. I think we all thought it.
We all thought it.
We all thought it. And I also want to point out that I love the connection between little Leia and Obi.
That is a really
I love
cute
that
connection.
so much. When the theme for Leia started, I was like, oh no. The waterworks were already starting to go, and I think by the end I had like nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a pretty solid finale. Like, it gave me a lot of things that I was really, really happy to see. I want to go ahead and go to the chat real quick. And Debbie says this: I don't think and by she, Debbie means Riva, pieced it together. I think she knew the boy was important to Obi-Wan. I don't think Riva going after Owen and Luke had to do with Anakin. I think, well, in the flashback where she was about to, put her lightsaber through Luke because she had the opportunity, she didn't, and there was a lot of that flashback of like angry Anakin kind of coming back and replaying that traumatic moment from Riva's childhood. And I guess that's what kind of makes me think a little bit that she had pieced it out and figured it out. But I think it's true what Debbie says. Like, maybe she didn't figure it out, and it was just like she was so blinded by her anger and wanting to exact revenge. But at the end, I think what's important that Obi-Wan tells her is like, you have a choice now.
Yeah.
And
they no longer have a grasp on you.
Yeah. So I think that's really, really good. And a couple of other you guys say, Seth says, yes, the fight was epic. I wanted the whole episode to be a duel with Obi-Wan and Vader. I mean, same.
Yeah.
Same. But there was a lot of it. There was a really good part, and I enjoyed what they gave us. RMD Collective says, did you notice that each part of the episode of the series correlates to each Star Wars movie 1 through 6?
Oh, yeah. Someone was pointing that out to me. Like, episode 1, the episode 1 is actually connects a lot to A Phantom Menace. Episode 2 connects to Attack of the Clones. Episode 3 attacks Revenge of the Sith. And A New Hope, and so on and so forth. Which I have to admit, I mean, is a very clever way of being able to tell this storyline.
Yeah.
So, and I like the way that of course, they don't bring that out until all of the episodes are out.
Yes.
Because you don't want people to be guessing what's going on in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah. And I want to read this comment as well. MK Songbird says, just imagine Vader and Maul in a room screaming, Obi-Wan!
Kenobi!
Back and forth at each other. That's what I said when he went, oh god, that Anakin, or should I say Vader screaming Obi-Wan too, like that broke my heart too. Mm-hmm. Just because there's so much history there, if you watch Clone Wars and the prequels, like, it's Obi-Wan.
Yeah, honestly though, I'm a little the way that they ended it, I wish there would have been a little bit more fighting back and forth to where there would have been a moment to where Obi-Wan thinks that he does kill Vader and then he leaves. But the fact that Obi-Wan does leave Vader very much standing and not a little bit more beaten down, I feel like is a missed opportunity. That before he goes flying off to go fight Vader, Obi-Wan is, trying to commune with Qui-Gon and saying, if he dies or I dies, this ends today. And he had the opportunity to end it today, and he didn't.
Well, he can't end it because everybody's got plot armor.
No, that is very true. That is very true. But that doesn't mean that he could have fought the fight and made it so he thought that Vader died, and then leaves, and then someone comes and saves him.
Which is why I think a small part of me wonders, and yes, I know the show is billed as a limited series, but I think there's enough room for a season 2.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to do it, they could do it, and they could add that little Maul moment. They would just have to age Obi-Wan a bit, to what, when that scene happened, what Obi-Wan looked like, because it's not what he looked like in this. Some time has passed. Yeah. So, I thought it was very sweet. Well, you know what? We got to talk about Uncle Owen and Aunt Bear.
Oh, yeah. And
She's like,
and
they're not
Peru.
taking. She's like, I am ready, and she was prepared, and Owen's looking at her like, what?
Where did you get those guns?
She was ready, man.
She's
she
like,
knew,
yeah.
she knew the risk.
I'm protecting my family.
Yeah, so props to them. Love seeing her in the episode, and let's talk about Qui-Gon. We've been wanting Qui-Gon. And I'm happy they gave it to us for the finale, just to see that Force Ghost pop up, and it's Liam Neeson turning around and saying what he says, and just more tears were flowing. Who knew? Who knew that this was gonna get me so?
Yeah, there was a lot
bad.
of moments
Yeah.
in there that really tugged on the heartstrings because we've been hearing about them
Yes.
for so long in the movies or in the animated series, and now to see them actually done with Ewan McGregor, with Liam Neeson, is just phenomenal. I do have to admit, though, that one thing that I am that it does kind of get me hopeful for a season 2 is the fact that we are kind of left where we began. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan has just defeated Darth Vader. He's going to recluse himself on Tatooine, and he's going to learn the Force from Qui-Gon. Where are we now? After just beating Darth Vader, Obi-Wan's reclused on Tatooine, going to learn the Force from Qui-Gon. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's the story that I really wanted to see. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was cool to see this connection between Leia and Obi-Wan, but I really wanted this to be like a deep dive into the Force and into how Obi-Wan is now able to become such a part of the Force that when Darth Vader does cut him in half in A New Hope, he just disappears. Yeah. And even in A New Hope, Darth Vader's like, what the? And he goes over and like kicks the robes. I didn't expect that.
How do you explain that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, really, really curious if they're eventually going to announce another season. So far, we've heard nothing yet.
Connor Pike does say in the chat, season 2 of Kenobi has reportedly already in development at Disney Plus.
I'll believe it
if
when Disney sends me the email that says it. And I'm not trying to say like he's lying or whatever. I just like to get into the habit of treating everything as a rumor.
Yeah.
Until it is confirmed.
If Disney comes out and says
or
it,
Lucasfilms,
or like we get like an exclusive from like Variety, or
right,
or like what are the big ones?
Variety, the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, and I guess The Wrap.
So honestly, I would not be surprised if there's a lot of talk going around about a season 2. Mm-hmm. But until one of the big wigs tell us yes, it's happening, it's one of those things that I'm just like. Just waiting for the official word. I mean, I would not deny it 100% at all that there's going to be a season 2.
Yeah, exactly. So until then, we have the next thing on Disney Plus to look forward to, which is I don't know if it's called Under the Helmet or Beneath the Helmet. It's kind of the same thing that they did for Mando and for Boba Fett, but essentially a behind the scenes like making of Obi-Wan. I can't wait to watch that because we get to see all the behind the scene footage, probably of them at rehearsal with the lightsabers. Like I want to see and hear more about like Hayden's involvement, because they had to keep so much of it under wraps that like we don't really know much else other than what they've been giving us in interviews. So I'm very much looking forward to this series and kind of how like Deborah Chow tackled all of these things. Like I love that. So I can't wait for that to come up. I think it's oh yes, MK says Disney Gallery.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out next. I thought it'd be up already, but I checked yesterday and it's not up yet. So whenever that comes up,
well, it just came out.
Watch.
What is it? The last episode, the finale, just came out this Tuesday. So normally it would be released on the same day.
So next Wednesday. This coming
Wednesday
okay.
is probably when they'll drop it. Just like you, I'm super excited to see the behind the scenes of making this, seeing them doing the choreography, because Vader is in all of the lightsaber fights. There's no lightsaber fight without Vader in it. So, I mean, the first fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, then the fight between Reva and Vader. And I have to admit, out of the 3 fights That's my favorite.
The final one?
No, the one with Reva and Vader. Oh. Just because that has...
His flex just...
Yeah. That was the fight that that was the one that I'm like, if I were to choreograph a fight between anyone and Darth Vader, that's the way I would choreograph it.
That he doesn't even use his own lightsaber.
He does not even draw his own
he's
lightsaber.
Powerful. It's Darth Vader.
It's like, you are beneath me, and he just pones them.
And the fact that he's like, you think I wouldn't have noticed, and I'm like, she never had him. He had her, but she never had him.
Yeah.
She just thought that. How devastating for her. It's just so full of like anger and hate. You know, obviously after what happens, and I'm really happy that we got the Imperial March at the end after he spoke with Palpatine. I was like,
oh yeah,
yes!
That conversation with Palpatine too.
Yeah,
where he's sitting there. Your thoughts are not clear on this. Maybe what is it? It was that deliberate threat that he gave to Darth Vader that maybe what is it? Because for the rule of two, the full force of the apprentice's anger needs to be directed towards the master. That's the only way that you can become strong enough in the dark side. But the Emperor, knowing that a lot of Vader's hatred is directed towards Obi-Wan, is one of those little things that you're just like, oh, that is just a nice subtle plot point storyline to kind of sneak in there.
Yeah. So overall, very happy with the finale, with some criticism. Overall, I still, as far as Star Wars live action series goes, Mando's still, the top tier for me.
Yeah.
But I think Obi-Wan will probably take second, with Boba Fett being third.
Yeah. I would, honestly, I would have to agree with you.
I would rank it.
My first two favorites Star Wars episodes would be The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2. Those were just done so incredibly well.
Yes.
Then Obi-Wan, then Book of Boba Fett. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm missing something in there, like one. But no, that's all
the finale?
Well, no, that there's another Star Wars live action show, but
I think maybe you're throwing Bad Batch in there, but that's not live action.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
animated.
Mm-hmm. I'm also very excited about Bad Batch Season 2, because that's the time era that I really want to learn more about.
Yes.
The year or two right after Order 66. So you can see the shift, you can see the change, you can see all of the propaganda that the Empire starts putting out about the Jedi, how they were really just trying to turn against the Republic.
Yeah.
And to see everything change. But of course, Ruru 2, you were right there with me. I cannot wait for Ahsoka. Ahsoka is probably one of my most anticipated series.
I hope they do it well, because I was pretty excited about Obi-Wan too.
Yeah.
And I really liked I thought the first two episodes, I was happy, with it, even though there was, again, things that I can kind of pick at. But I really liked the way they introduced her and how they did live action Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, and in, I guess, a couple episodes of Book of Boba Fett / The Mandalorian Light, because it was a Mandalorian
Light,
because it was a Mandalorian centric episode, but during the Book of Boba Fett. So I'm liking what they're doing with her so far, so I hope that carries over to the series. So with that, we obviously will keep our eyes on upcoming live action Disney Plus Star Wars shows like we always have, so make sure you guys come back to our channel for those reactions whenever those happen. And with that, let's go ahead and shift gears to Miss Marvel. We're on episode 3 now. This one is called Destined, which is a fun little title. If you watched episode 3, this one, I was saying to Dustin right before we watched it that I was hoping to get a little bit more action, and boy, did we.
Oh, yeah.
Get some action in this one, and I think it's going to just continue to ramp up from here on out, because we have 3 more episodes left, starting next week.
And we got a lot of backstory in this.
We got a lot of backstory.
We got a lot of exposition. I mean, it opens up with that group that we had met. Well, that we've just been introduced to in episode 3.
In the 1940s.
Yep, during what was it called?
The British occupation.
When the British left. And left that huge mess. It was called.
Is it the partition?
Partition.
Yes.
Thank you. For some reason I wanted to say apartheid, but I know that's not right. That's happened in South Africa.
So yeah, I really actually like that they started with that. So you see a little bit more of the origin of the bangle. We don't know everything quite yet, but it's important to them. She was digging for it. It was on a severed hand, and the hand that is blue, Dustin said in our reaction that he thinks it could be Kree. Mm-hmm. But they also touched on the subject of the Jinn, so it could be a Jinn thing as well. But what was really cool as they kind of panned up as right before Aisha and I think Najma, sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, they kind of panned, I guess, an over... what is that called? Like an aerial shot of the area they're searching, and there is the symbol of the 10 ring on the ground.
That was one of those moments where Wendy was.
Gosh.
If you watch our reaction, Wendy was like, "That's the 10 rings." I was like, I saw it. I was like, "Oh!" It was one of those moments that you're just like, it was a real slap in the face that made you just go, I did not expect that at all.
I apologize for anybody's eardrums because I yelled. I was trying to, like, the words weren't coming out, so all I said was, ooh, 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 10 rings. And then the moment passed, so we went back at the end of the episode to make sure that it was the 10 ring symbol because, like, we kind of caught it and then it was gone. And it definitely was. And somebody in our episode 2 reaction video literally said, oh, what if the bangle that Kamala's wearing is somehow tied to Shang-Chi's 10 rings? And I was like, well, that's an interesting theory. And then they go and do that in this episode with the... So, very curious about that.
There's also a lot of connections between the two.
Hold on a second. Hey, I'm seeing guys, it's called a spoiler discussion. If you haven't watched the episode, do yourself a favor. Don't be in here because you're going to ruin it for yourself. We're giving you plenty of warning. We already, talked about all the spoilers for the finale for Obi-Wan. And this is why we wait until Saturday to do these spoiler discussions so that we don't serve as spoilers for you guys. I really don't want to. Like, we're going to continue talking about spoilers, but, like, you're warned. So don't be, no, baby, we're...
Well, I know, I'm sorry, but we transitioned from Obi-Wan to Miss Marvel.
Right.
And we should have made like a little, hey, we're now going to be going on to this. But yes, we are talking 100% spoilers.
Sorry, I had like
So
we're talking spoilers. So if you haven't watched the episode, don't be in here. Do yourself a favor and don't be in here. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and what were you saying?
About spoilers? Or,
no, about the episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. So when you actually look at the way that the 10 rings power up, and then you look at how the bangle powers up, they power up like, I think it's the same color, as a matter of fact. So seeing that correlation and that connection really made... Once it's, pointed out to you, it's kind of like, oh, that is so cool to see that connection. However, in Shang-Chi, they had Carol Danvers. They are going, this is no tech that I've ever seen before. And she spent a lot of time with the Kree.
End credit.
The end credit scene. However, if this is ancient Kree tech, like say, for example, I don't know, like 1,000, 2,000 years ago, the Kree sent a ship to Earth, and they crash landed on Earth, and that's how. What's his dad's name from the 10 Rings? Wenwu found. That's where he found the rings, and someone else got one of the bangles.
One of them, because it was very specific when they said 2. Mm-hmm. There are 2. So, what's the theory of who has the other bangle? I don't know if it was you who said it to me, or I think I read it in the comment section of our reaction video, but somebody mentioned that they think maybe Nani has the other bangle, which is why she was like,
hey, you need to get here.
Yeah, you need to come. Both of you need to come to Karachi. I saw the train. I was like, how did she see the train? but so she happens to have the other bangle. That would kind of make sense. There was a lot of stuff that went on this episode. Because I think last week we were talking about Quran, and I was like, what if Quran? I think Debbie and I were talking about it afterwards too. Like, what if Quran is the baddie? But so far, it does not seem like that is the case. It seems like the rest of the other clandestine
which is another word
deep
that they
cut.
Deep. Well, I think almost every Marvel fan really had to look into that because, yeah, I was like, clandestine. I've heard that name before, but I have no idea what it is.
I mean, I feel like the show's taking a little bit of license with from the origin of the clandestine, but the Jinn is still like a part of that lore. So that's really interesting, and I like that this episode, it gave us action. It gave us a lot of setup of like what we can expect. It's kind of like the Jinn that they kind of like slowly sprinkle through, you know, like I think since episode 2 or episode 1, like just the word, they just said it, right? But this one, they kind of go a little bit more deep into it. For example, when Yusuf went to visit Bruno at the corner store to get his little cherry pie.
Oh, and I love that too. Okay, so I watched the New Rock, Eric Voss's New Rockstar video on the breakdowns of this. I love watching his videos. And I completely forgot that these were in the old Marvel comic books when they used to take little breaks in the action to promote the Hostess fruit pies. And I think I at one time might have had an old Marvel comic that had that in it. So seeing that brought to light just made me giggle.
Yeah.
And I love Kamala's dad.
I love her whole family.
I think he is so cool, so lovable.
I love them.
He really is just like you want to give him a big hug.
Yeah, he's just kind, and I love that he was like, oh, it's an Urdu, I'll translate for you. And what's interesting is after he read aloud and translated the text, from Bruno's research, he's like, oh, haven't heard that one before. Him, of all peas, like, I haven't heard this before. So it's like all of this, so much information was thrown at us for this episode. And I think that's one of the things I will say, if I had to nitpick at anything, is for our villains, how quickly they turned against Kamala. Like, it was so soon. I expected them to turn in episode 4 so they can build up that trust a little bit more so when the backstab comes. Yeah. That hurt could be played up a little bit more. But I think they did, even if they kind of felt like they fast forward through that moment, I imagine 4, 5, and 6 are going to be pretty huge, and that's why they had to rush through to get that point across, to have them detained by the DODC very quickly. But there was a lot. There was, seeing Nakia in the mosque kind of speaking up when the DODC came in with their shoes on. How dare. How disrespectful. And was like, hey, actually, you can't be here. And the fact that she was elected to be a board member makes me really happy. It also makes me wonder why, when she came to see Kamala, like, why she seemed upset. Yeah. Like, is she mad that she, like, oh my god, now I actually got this?
Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is. It's a little of her being like, she probably didn't really expect to get it, because
I'm happy for her.
And then she actually got it, and then she's like,
oh no,
oh crap, what did I do? What did I just get myself into?
But no, it's good. It's good for her, and I so there's a lot to explore there, because her being one of Kamala's best friends, Kamala still wasn't able to find the right time to tell her everything about the bangle and the power. So she had to find out at the end of the episode. She's like, why didn't you tell me? And you saw that hurt so much, and there was so much going on. Bruno was hurt, and he was gonna have to bring everything to the Kia. He's like, are you okay? He's like, I'm really not okay. And I was like, oh no. And Kamala having to basically run all the way back home and not being able to tell her family what is happening. And they had inserted a lot of nice moments between family of like, hey, how did you survive? Like, when you feel like the world was against you, what did you do? And she had that conversation with her mom. And then to see the brother conversation with his dad right before getting married, and was like, I'm worried about this. Good moments. Yes. Love that about this show. Moments.
And you know what? Also something that's I'm really liking about this show is, since it is material that we know very little to absolutely nothing about. I have no preconceived notions about what to expect. I have no headcanon already established in my mind.
Yes.
And they can pretty much throw whatever they want out at me, and I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm game with this lore, and not going like, well, the real lore is like this, and I don't want you to change it, or I expected it to be more like this. Since I have no expectations,
yeah,
I am really, really enjoying this show. I have liked every single episode that they have brought out. True, don't get me wrong, there are a few little things. I thought that the fight scene was okay.
It's just the beginning of it.
I understand what they were trying to show. I understand that they obviously could not have Kamala just go completely, Omega power on all of them. But
like right away?
Right away. She's still learning. And they couldn't go full power on her. But they kind of
They were kind of scary, though.
They got kind of pwned by the DODC. Poof, poof, poof. Oh, you're arrested.
What if that's the intent?
Maybe.
What if that's
maybe they're pulling
intent?
A Joker and they want to be arrested.
These guys seems like they sort of have a plan. They've been, in our world for who knows how long. They said that they were banished and they've been trying to find a way home for a long time. So, it wouldn't really surprise me if they have some sort of a plan. It also wouldn't surprise me if they're, because sometimes you got to do certain weird things and have plot holes for the next thing to happen, and then later on you look back and you're like, why did they do this? But, I'm going to take it for what it is for now. I thought some of their weapons were cool. That one guy, he went like this, and it, expanded out some weird,
all of a sudden it was a big mace.
Yeah, and I was like, that's interesting. That woman had a spear. The belt whip thing was pretty crazy.
Apparently that is actually based off of a real Pakistani weapon. It's designed to be something that you can kind of wrap around and hide, and then you can pull it out of like a belt buckle, and it's kind of like a whip sword. Okay. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Okay. And even Kamran had his own little thing that he used to fight. They didn't really reveal what happened with him. He was probably also detained.
Yeah, they show him getting arrested.
Yeah. So that's right. So overall. Oh, and they had the nice wedding moment as well. I like that. I
thought that was really cute.
Yeah, they gave us a glimpse into the culture, into the wedding. I have been. Leo says Brown Jovi.
That was, and I like the fact that they kept that joke too from episode 1 or 2 to
really?
Well, because they had mentioned they liked Bon Jovi.
Yes.
So having
that's right.
A cover group, a Bon Jovi cover group at the wedding, I think is great, and it was one of those little, it's a callback.
Yeah,
it's a cute little callback to a joke that they made earlier.
I did have to mute a lot of the audio in this one because I was worried about copyright strike, and I was like, oh, these are the songs I should not be playing for more than just a couple of seconds, and even then it's risky. But I really liked with Kamala, it was when Bruno got hurt is when her emotions kind of was like, bam, and then the hand formed, just kind of like America Chavez, when her emotions, when she felt threatened or whatever in that moment, that's when she was able to somehow harness her power. Yeah. So I like seeing the kind of, we're seeing the beginning of it, and I think as each episode goes on, she's going to be able to get a better grasp on her powers.
And I'm really curious on what's going to happen if and when she does get 2 bangles. Yeah. And she gets full powered up. And are we going to see her revert from this sparkly kind of power to actually her body now becomes more flexible and a little bit more like what is it, kind of like they have it in the comic book, to where she can take a few more hits? Because there was a moment in this episode where it shows them Kamala rubbing her knee. Yes. So it's okay, so she doesn't have the super healing factor or the super tough factor. She bumped her knee and she's feeling it. Yes. So I'm curious on if she does get the other bangle, if she then gets full on power up. Yeah. But something that just popped in my mind, because Adit down in the comment did mention Monica And I'm wondering if at the end of this, we're going to see an appearance either by Monica Rambeau or by Carol Danvers.
Yes, because all of the above are in the movie. The Marvels. So, like, it kind of would be cool if we got both of them, but if I had to pick one, I would actually love to see Carol Danvers because I know how much she means to Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Like, she's a fangirl.
You could have that amazing
specifically,
fangirl
yeah.
moment.
So, like, I think that'd be cool to put in, like, a cameo from the final episode or in a post-credit scene. I know Debbie on Discord says, here, this. I have 4 potential cameos that help set that up as far as, like, how this could connect to Secret Invasions, since she's going to be in the Marvels. And both that movie and Secret Invasions shot simultaneously. Carol Danvers, Nick Fury, Talos' wife, child, Monica Rambeau. My biggest hope, says Debbie, is we see Brie Larson in the cameo spot by the time the series ends.
Oh, that would be, I mean, because, yeah, I would love for this to start connecting to Secret Invasion. Because I've said it 100 times. Secret Invasion is one of my favorite storylines in the MCU. I loved it. It was such a great, who can you trust? Who's gonna stab you in the back? How do you get around? How can you tell these Skrulls apart from other people? And it is to see them put that into a series. I'm glad they're making it a series and not a movie, because you need to slowly build that tension.
Yeah.
And just having it linger there, and then having those moments where, like, okay, I finally trust this person. I trust you. You're not a Skrull. And then finding out that they're a Skrull. So,
kind of like what happened with Monica Rambeau at the end of WandaVision. When she goes in and talks to this one who's seemingly like an agent. She's like, surprise, I'm a Skrull. So, I mean, they could be everywhere. Who knows?
And the connection... Eric Voss made this connection that I thought was funny. That... What is it, in this episode where they stole the brother's shoes?
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury, coming out of his vacation, is like, where are my shoes? Who stole my shoes?
Who stole my shoes? That's funny.
So I thought that was kind of a funny little connection.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Nick Fury. Or maybe that's going to be one of the cameos, is Nick Fury.
It could be. Why not? That could make sense, too. Or just a Flurkin.
Of the Flurkin, the cat.
Just a goose. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. But no, we're enjoying Miss Marvel so much. Like, I feel so connected and so invested in all of these characters. And it's, sometimes you watch certain series and you're just kind of like, okay, like you kind of pick your faves. But this is a show where I was like, yeah, I care for every single, well, not the bad guys, but, you know. But, like, I am really like the ensemble here. So, it's been going great. I think and what's cool is that I literally have no theories where this next one can go.
Yeah.
Where the next episode can go and what we're going to see. No idea.
Also interesting is that they brought up a new dimension, the Noor dimension.
The Noor dimension.
So I know absolutely nothing about that, and I have a feeling that this is just new stuff that they're bringing out.
I feel like if I had any theory, and I think this is kind of like a matter of fact, but
it's a demon dimension, and Mephisto's coming.
No more Mephisto.
Because Jinn are demons.
Oh my gosh. Here we go again. No, I think we're definitely learning and like being properly introduced to not properly, but we're going to be introduced to, or they're introducing the Inhumans in this series, is I think what they're going to
or do. Whatever their version.
They're hinting at it. Yeah, their version
of the Inhumans.
You think they'll call it the Inhumans?
Maybe.
They could, right?
I kind of hope that they do.
Yeah.
I hope that they have some kind of connection to the Inhumans, that they actually start maybe introducing something missed. I can't remember, but the thing that made the Inhumans.
Yes.
If you know what the word is, put it down in the comment section. But yeah, it's that this is going to create because I want to see Black Bolt. I want to see
again.
Yeah, again, not with his head blown up.
With the mouth.
Terrigenist. Thank you so much.
Is it called Terrigen or is it Terrigen?
Terrigen. If I'm not mistaken, it's
Terrigen.
something like that. Terrigen. I've heard of Terrigen. So, but I'm super excited for what this series holds, and the fact that I know absolutely nothing. I have no clue what's going to happen whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
So it makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And what
Leo says Jin, so maybe like Terrigen missed.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jin?
Oh, like the Jin?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe. So, another little Mephisto
No
rumor.
more Mephisto.
Well, sooner or later, they're going to have to bring him in. And I think it would be funny if they deliberately, like, do a red herring and then bring in Mephisto for something.
Oh my gosh. I'm giving up on the Mephisto.
We know that the hell dimension exists. We saw it in Multiverse of Madness. When they were flying through all of those different dimensions, we saw a hell dimension. So it's very possible that's where Mephisto lives.
Eventually. But not anytime.
Eventually.
So what else can we say about Miss Marvel other than we've been really enjoying the shows and we love the characters?
Let's see here. I'm trying to go through the episode in my brain now and think about all the little parts that I wanted to that I deliberately really wanted to talk about. And also, what are some of the moments that you guys really loved? Some of the moments that you guys really wanted to talk about or bring up? Because I've always been really interested in hearing just things that I missed, things that we haven't brought up, and you're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's right.
I will like to add that the kitchen scene when Kamala was trying to hide from the rest of the clandestine, it gave me full on Jurassic Park,
that's right.
OG Jurassic Park hiding from the raptors feel, and it's literally only because like she's like sitting against like one of those big shelves and they're in a kitchen, but it kind of gave me that a little bit, and it was dark, and I like that scene. I think each episode have been building and building and building and have been better and better and better.
Yes,
that's
very true.
I'm really liking it.
And of course, I can't wait to find out what episode our friend Ethan is in, because we saw that one little clip, and I was like, oh.
Well, 4, 5, or 6, because that's the only 3 left, and
we're halfway there.
I think he was in the trailer. Let me go to his Instagram and see, because I think he did a screenshot of himself when he saw in the upcoming like trailer for last week. He's in like
Fantasyland.
Now we gotta watch the whole thing.
And you gotta try to pause it at the perfect moment.
I don't think I can. Oh, I can't.
Oh, kind of sort. No, well, you can.
No, I can't. So it's coming. Right, this part.
Yeah. That's when they were going into the
mosque.
The mosque.
There.
Oh, there. Oh.
See, he's talking to what's her face, the one of the woman agent from the DODC. Like he has a scene with her, and he looks all important with the badge. So, maybe he comes to break them out. Oh no, maybe he comes to help interrogate. What if he's a Skrull? What if Ethan's a Skrull? He would
Ethan's never. Oh, that would be really cool. Then is that later on he gets to continue as that Skrull.
He's in the MCU now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. All right, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap this live up. So let us know any other thoughts that you guys have.
There was a comment that I wanted to. Did you guys notice that the kid Kamala saved was the mosque shoe thief?
The only reason
was pointed out to us. The
only reason why I noticed is because Peter from Ordinary Adventures posted it on Twitter or on Instagram, and I was like, "Well, hold on a second. Oh yeah," and then I think Eric said something about it too. So I was like, "Oh, they haven't explored that yet," but I think there's other important things that's going on now, and I think Nakia would probably be the one to like bust them because her shoes were also stolen. So there is that. So as far as the Noor dimension, Debbie says this in the Discord. The Noor dimension, she says, I think the Noor dimension is going to be their version of the negative zone. In the books, Marvel has the nega bands and goes into the negative zone. The Bangles are going to be this show's version of that.
Oh.
That's interesting. That's
that would
very
be pretty
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just now they're starting to get to the point. You know, Marvel is still on such a huge high. There's still been so many huge successes that have come out. You know, Doctor Strange did well. I'm pretty sure Thor's gonna do pretty well.
Thor's a lot of fun, guys.
Thor's
we
a
can't talk
lot
about
of
it yet,
fun.
but it's a lot of fun.
So there's going to come a point to where they're like, okay, we now need to make up, like, take some of this super obscure stuff, somehow bring it to the forefront, and now focus on all of these stories. Because there's still a lot of things that they've mentioned in previous movies. Like, what is it? In my brain, sorry, just went. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the end credit with his name is it's called Adam. That has not made an appearance yet. In the end of Eternals, what's his name?
Eros.
Eros. We still have all of that. So they have so much cool stuff to bring to the forefront.
Coming. They're all coming. The Black Knight and everything.
Yeah, we got the Black Knight.
Yeah.
We still got Blade. We've still got so much cool stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're excited to hear that Marvel is going back to San Diego Comic-Con. We have our badges for Comic-Con, so hopefully we can get into Hall H for the day that Marvel is going to be there and be able to sit there and take in whatever information they decide to share with us there. And then fingers crossed for D23. I haven't heard anything about that yet, but very, very excited. I guess my next, the question I have for the upcoming episodes is, because of Kamala's phone call with Nani, will they try to go to Karachi?
Oh, I'm sure that's where they're,
That's crazy. Like, her family's just like, are you going to tell us what's going on? She's like, I can't. And you saw the disappointment in her mother and kind of a little bit of the disapproval in her mother's face.
Yeah.
So, like, how is she going to convince her parents, like, we got to go here? How? I don't know. But I'm very excited for the potential this show has. It's really, really fun. I am honestly a little surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. Like, I look forward to seeing it. So.
And Metallic Knoll, I agree with you 100%. They need an Avengers Con.
Make it happen. There's a link that Debbie put in the Discord that says Avengers Con. It's literally, the website is NewJerseyAvengerCon.com. Looks like that.
Avengers Con.
There's a focus. It looks like that.
Oh, and then as soon as you moved it away, that's when all of the things started to show up on it.
Oh my gosh, it's literally, how funny. I think Marvel put this up because this is really, really well done. But it's literally like an advertisement of like the actual RenderCon that they go to. Like, there's even, you know, there's the Hulk smash the hand, the gigantic dude Ant-Man statue, the realm of Asgard, and then there is the event, Captain Marvel cosplay contest. So I'm going to have to, Marvel Studios.
That is funny.
There's going to be Easter eggs in here. We're going to have to peruse this website because didn't they do for when, what show was it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out. They did like a website where you can go in and it's like the Power Brokers Vault with the artwork, and then there's like little tiny Easter eggs in there. Like, I want to kind of explore this website now and see if there's anything we can find out. Okay, you guys. Well, that is it for today's live stream. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, even though we were basically an hour late. Because I know for a lot of you guys on the West Coast, it's like dinner time. It's past dinner time. So thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed.
And thank you, Ashley, for subscribing.
Thank you, Ashley, for subscribing, and hello. We will see you guys on... There's no live stream on Wednesday because I'm doing a thing with fandom. I'm not on camera or anything like that. It's behind-the-scenes stuff. But I'm doing a thing with fandom, so I won't be here. Dustin may or may not stream on his own. Not like this, but maybe on Twitch.
Maybe on Twitch?
Maybe, depending on how busy his day is. There should still be a Miss Marvel reaction, but that's going to be rough because my call time for fandom, I think it's pretty early, and you guys know I don't finish these reactions until like 4 a.m. So for my own like sanity, I may have to push this reaction back a little bit, which I don't love, but you know, the job is important, so I got to do that. But there will definitely be a Miss Marvel reaction. If I can edit it fast enough, great. If I can't, then it'll just go up later. And then on Saturday, we will see you guys right here again, hopefully at its normal time. Oh, wait.
Huh?
Yeah. We can still do it because it's Saturday.
Yes.
Yes, we will still be here on Saturday at 2 p.m. PT.
Talking about spoilers for Miss Marvel.
Yes. Derek 11 says, don't flick too hard.
You flick too hard!
You flick too hard! All right, you guys. We love you so much. Thanks for being here. Stay well, and we will see